Hi there. My name's Nick, and I'm a team leader within the CRS services here at Catch22. I'm hosting season 5 of the Catch22 Minutes podcast, Experts by Experience, where we'll be exploring the value of lived experience. I'll be speaking with Catch22 service users from across our services. To listen, search Catch22 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. Hello. So today we're here for another episode of our Experts by Experience podcast. I've got a guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Carl, also known as C.Roots.
Nice. Lovely to have you.
Lovely to be here.
Yeah, we're in a nice studio.
Swanky studio.
Swanky studio, plastic table.
Yeah.
Keeping it real.
It's a lot better than some of the studios I've been.
Love it. Wonderful. So today we're going to be talking about creativity. We're going to be talking about your experiences and kind of bringing forward the thoughts that you have about your own creativity, how important creativity has been for you throughout your life. It's really important through these podcasts that we get the experience of people that have lived through the systems that we're talking about, to kind of help wider audiences, people that maybe are at different stages of their journey to yourself. So it'd be really good for you to kind of just do an overview about, how you feel about creativity and kind of how it's impacted your life. You said you've got alter ego, C.Roots. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about that.
So music really, for me, music has been like an outlet. It's been a cushion. I suppose I first started music when I was 14 to 17. I was doing like spitting to jungle. So that's what people know as drum and bass now. But I was just doing it. Like, I think maybe because of my age, the environment I was in, I wasn't really looking at it as, this is an outlet, whatever. It was just something I could do. Then I stopped doing, I just kind of fell off of music at 17 due to the environment and what I was getting up to. Then years later, like cut a long story short, went to prison. And then a few years into prison, I could hear someone singing from the opposite cell. And I thought, I didn't know he could sing. That definitely sounds like him. So then he was singing over a rap beat. So I've gone over. When the door opened, I went over and said, "Was that you?" He said, "Yeah." He said he wrote a song for his girl. I said, I think I could rap to that, And then I kind of asked him to break down the concept, the 60, like how to measure a 16 bar. And then he said, "Yeah, go on, write a verse." So I wrote a verse, but it was like, listening to it now, I would be so uncomfortable. I swear, Dan. Very robotic, like too many words in the bar. But once I wrote that verse and everyone was like, yeah, it's sick, it's sick. I think I just never looked back. I just constantly started writing music. Then I started getting, some of the pent up aggression and emotion that I was holding out on the paper, so it just started making me feel a bit lighter. And it was something to do. So in prison, you've got nothing to do. So like other than prison crap, innit? So it gave me something to do, something fun. So so I think it worked really well as an outlet. It helped me to keep my aggression down, because you definitely get a lot of pent up aggression in prison, and it could be past traumas, and it could be the trauma that you're going through at the time. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think just as a man in a building with just men,
That's tough.
like there's a lot of egos flying around, the testosterone. Everyone wants to be the guy. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of frustration you have to deal with. And if you just like took up the cause on everything that pissed you off in there, Am I allowed to say pissed off?
You are.
Okay.
You are permitted.
Thank you. I won't go further than that. But you know, if you took up every, you know, mission that pissed you off, you would be fighting all the time. So you know, sometimes it's good to, you know, just get it out.
Yeah. Have a different way.
Yeah. Just takes a little bit off the shelf. You know, so just like lightens the load a bit.
So you said like back to go back to where you started, so you were 14. Was that kind of, how did you get introduced to that? Was that like peers around you were doing music and you were like...
Peers, one of my older peers that lived like on the next road, he had a pirate radio station, so...
Wicked. Wow.
We used to like do spitting in the bedroom, and then obviously people in the area, they just know like who does what, and then me and my friend got invited to go there. He was the DJ, I was the MC.
Oh my God. When you were 14?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sick. Future FM. That was some old school stuff. And do you know what? It's mad because now I can tear down a drum and bass track. Then, you know, like I think, love, you weren't even all that, man. You know.
Well, you say that, Carl. We actually have a clip of you. No, I'm joking. Can you imagine? You're like, the worst thing is for me to listen to that back. I was like, oh, imagine if we had that. But yeah, it's all about, I think, especially with artistry, especially with music, it's all about that growth, isn't it? And
definitely.
you can see it so tangibly within someone's work. You can see the different decisions they're making and when they learn something new or they're reflecting in a different way. So it's interesting that you said when you're in prison you were starting making music then, because obviously I imagine that was a reflection of your environment. When you were there.
Definitely. Like a lot of, most of the material was about, well, all of it really was about what I was going through. So, you know, it's only, I think one of my friends was like, bruv, you're making too many prison songs, didn't it? But you know, like I found that transition of placing myself outside when I wasn't outside to write a song was really hard. But once I got one done, I kind of was finding different themes that were nothing to do with prison to write about, you know. But obviously it gets boring after a while because I'm not actually outside, so this is long. I need to be outside and feel them feelings too, right? But it going through those stages of growth was what got me through. So, you know, like that the first stage of just writing pure pain of what I'm going through, you know, basically me against the system, you know, outside drama, what I'm going through, family, you know, like your life falls apart when you go to prison. So it was very easy for me to write about painful moments, you know. But then, like you can, I believe you, even if you're not born with musical talent and you learn it, the more you do it, you can only get better. You cannot get worse. I think it's impossible if you just keep at it. And like, so that growth from going from doing too many words in the bar, then, you know, like sometimes when you've got other musicians around you that are more experienced, you learn from things from them and you'll just change your ways a little bit.
Picking it up and moving it.
Yeah. So that growth and that journey was what got me through, because I used to, even like with like education courses and stuff, I used to use them as time blocks, right? This is going to be a 3-month course. That's 3 months. Do you get what I mean? So I used to like put things around in my life to like... To
get you through?
Yeah. So when I look at those learning blocks in music, they were time frames, but they were like unplanned time frames. Do you get what I'm saying? But it just kept my head in the beats and on the paper.
Sometimes you only see those processes though, and like the function that things had in retrospect.
Yeah, definitely.
Like what you're saying, you're looking back and you're like, oh, I had to do that to get through that period of time.
Definitely.
And when you're going through something like prison, you know, it's all about, like you say, that functional, how am I going to get through every day?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like from what you're saying, it was just pain everywhere.
Yeah, because everyone's going through some kind of trauma, like, and whether or not, you know, you put yourself in that position to be in prison, it's still trauma.
Absolutely.
Like, and you've still got things around you, your life, like people that, you know, because everyone's a victim, like your families, people that are relying on you, they're victims. People that love you, they're victims because they've lost you, innit? So whether it's your fault or not, there's still trauma going on around you and that's affecting you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. How do you feel listening back to any of that stuff that you've made at that point of your life? Do you ever do that?
Nah, do you know what? I have got a lot of stuff on mini disc, but I don't have a mini disc player, so I can't listen to it.
A healthy separation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There is a couple good. There is some good, like good stuff, but the really early stuff is like, oh. And I think how I look at some of the stuff that I think was good for when it was. Mm-hmm. We was making music with nothing, you know, like we had no. We was like recording with 2 mini discs.
Interesting.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Playing the beat through 1 mini disc, and then recording our voice on the other. Then going into the education department to marry it together on some crappy program.
It's so innovative, though. Like, do you know, you're doing what you can with what you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Survive. You have to just survive.
Yeah. So when you were in that kind of stage, so when you're in prison and you're making this music, was there a particular process that you found to responding to how you feel? Like, would you write and then you'd record? Would you just find yourself kind of, like, what does that process look like for you?
For me, the majority of the time, even now, the majority of the time, and sometimes, like, in prison, I've had times where I'm just about going to sleep and then I'll start rapping in my head.
It comes, yeah.
I think, oh shit, if I don't get up now, because a couple of times I've not bothered getting up to get the pen and quickly write it down and I forgot it in the morning. So, you know, like, then I started leaving. When I was saying that, I was saying to my friend, oh yeah, like, and I forgot, like, and I know it was sick, even though I can't remember what it was sick.
It was there.
Yeah, and then he said, bruv, why don't you just leave the pad next to your bed?
Yeah.
So then I started doing that, so now I'd get a few bits from that, but a lot of the time, it could be, I listen to, like, instrumentals, and then one would just trigger an emotion, whether happy, sad, or whatever, and then it would just come out of me.
Interesting. And the words come out of you from that feeling.
Yeah.
Mad. Yeah. It's like your little dream diary next to you. It's interesting as well that it comes about at night.
Yeah.
Or like when you're in that space where you're like shutting down, like your body's shutting down, you're ready to rest, but your mind's like...
Because do you know what it is? In prison, you're on your own quite a lot. So a lot of the time, I don't think I ever done a joint. No, I think actually once I did, but we didn't actually sit in the same room. I just, you know, like when I done it back to back, I wrote like my 4 bars and said, right, you have to lead off from that. And we just done to and fro. We didn't sit in the same room and do it. It's only when I came out, and not even, I think like a couple years after I got out, when someone was like, right now. Like, because I was like, yeah, I'll have it done. He's like, no, you're writing now.
As in, like, in front of
now,
me right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
right,
pressure.
this is nuts.
Yeah.
But I can do it now. It's and that's a process as well, isn't it? It's all like process. So, you know, because in prison you haven't got that luxury. You've got certain time frames. So people need to make phone calls, this, that. You can't waste time sitting around. Do you get what I'm saying? Phone calls, shower, like there's things that you need to do before that door closes. So you're better off just doing it when the door closes.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's it as well. See where because I know I've gone off on a tangent, but you know, where you're alone a lot of the time, you're in touch with your full emotions, because even outside, you're not going to be your full self. Unless you're like a person that wears your heart on your sleeve all the time, you're not going to be your full... If something's going on in your life, you're not going to just bring it here, are you?
Yeah.
Like,
You got to function, haven't you? You have to go and live and function in the world every day.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in prison, that's like amplified because there's a lot of egos. So say like, it's crazy. You can show anger and no one will bat an eyelid. You can show happiness, no one will bat an eyelid. But if you show like sadness, you dare to cry, you're done at it. You're done at because people see it as a weakness, not as a human emotion that everyone has got. Do you get what I'm saying? So you will be more in touch with your full emotions in the cell anyway. So that's probably, some of the deep stuff that I've written.
It pours out
it's
then.
been in the cell,
Yeah. You know what made me think? It's fascinating when you're saying that because there's no way that process is specific to you, right? That's the general experience of being in a system, being in prison. So that means that the likelihood is everybody is, bang up happens, you're behind the door, and then everybody in their individual cells is feeling emotional and releasing.
At some stage, definitely. Because like you could have I'm not saying like people will be like, but there will be someone that you could have a bereavement. And if you let that get to you on the landing,
it's weakness.
Yeah. Like there'll be someone that they might not say it, but they'll start acting to. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like even with bereavements, you have to just go. See me, like when my gran died, it's like everyone, like all my friends, like even just people that like I just say all right to or whatever. Every minute they kept asking me if I'm all right. And it was pissing me off. So I had to like just go and lock myself away and I know they're only trying to help, but it wasn't helping. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to like literally I'll come out my cell and where everyone, because when you get a call from the chapel, everyone knows this is something.
Yeah.
You don't get called.
Signifies it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, and because through years of just, people saying, if you get called from the chapel, it could be a bereavement, or someone going through it. So then when my name's being called, and they're like, the chaplain wants to see you, we don't know what it's about. I'm like, huh? What's this? Like, and like, obviously, because I knew, like, my gran was ill
she
and
wasn't
old.
well.
So I thought, nah, I hope not, just please. Them ones that, or sometimes people could just tell, because... like, rest in peace. When my friend died before my gran, someone told called the jail, told the chaplain to inform me what was going on. So like you just don't know what it could be like, but it's just not gonna be good, innit? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have just told the staff there and then.
Yeah, it's always a signifier.
Yeah, so it's crazy that we can't be, because everyone goes through bereavement at some stage, so why can't you be yourself?
Yeah. It's interesting the link between that, like not being able to be your authentic self. Also, I think there's an element that as a woman, I wouldn't understand what that feels like because there's so many things that society tells men that they have to be around weakness.
Yeah.
And generally, as women, we experience that less.
Yeah.
We're permitted to be more emotional. So that must be, around bereavement, that must be hard. Do you feel like music, have you ever made music about that?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Definitely. Like I've got a track called The Naked Truth. So that kind of was the lead up. I started writing that when the last visit I got from my gran, because I thought, but like she's moving all slow, and I thought, this is just long, man. Like I knew it's coming, innit?
You felt it, yeah.
Yeah. So without anyone saying it, I just knew this is, at some stage, this is gonna happen, innit? And obviously, if these things happen, but you don't picture it to yourself, innit? So, because before my gran, the people I'd lost were gone too early, as in it wasn't. At end of my gran was 96.
Wow.
Do you get what I'm saying? So, from seeing a strong woman, and then now she's come to visit me slow, speaking slow. Just I was like, nah, this is shit. So, and then like I literally, because when you come off a visit, you kind of replay, well I do anyway, like replay.
Everything that happened.
Yeah. And then I think I was just listening to like instrumentals, and I just started writing about it. So, you know, like, but then that led me to write about other family issues.
Interesting. So that opened the door, and you started connecting to the other dynamics.
Yeah. So
Mad.
it's mad because I when I was in DCAT, we got out to go to a theatre show, to do a theatre show, music theatre, the Other Palace Theatre in Victoria, and I've invited like my whole family. So like this is the first time that my mum, I've sent her music and whatnot, but my whole family, even ones that we didn't speak for years, like where there was like issues going on, and I performed the track, The Naked Truth, and all I did don't know what I was doing.
That is, I
told my mum, I said to
that.
my mum, I said, look, like, I've got a track, it's called The Naked Truth, is this going to be a problem? She's like, are you telling the truth? I said, yeah. She said, it's up to you then.
I love that. Yeah. She's like, yes, it's going to be a problem. Do it anyway.
And then I've done it. Then obviously there was just tears and all this stuff. And then like one of my family members like, you bastard, but it was, I hear you. You should have warned us. No warning, mate. Otherwise you want to come.
Yeah.
But like that helped me get at, you know, stuff that I've never spoke about.
Yeah. You used music in that moment.
Yeah. Because we've never actually, all the issues, like, even like the thing of me just being away from my daughter, like I've speak to my daughter all the time, but there was lots of things in that song that I've never actually spoke to the person about it. We just know the issues there. Yeah. But do you get what I mean? So it was good to get it off. It was good when I wrote it to get it off, but when I actually done it in front of everyone, that was good.
It's so many layers of importance.
Yeah. So because they didn't know it was coming, which it wasn't like cussing. It was just laying out the problem that we had, and then at the end of the song, I said, "But we're all fixed now." You know, like, do you get what I mean? Then I wrote so when my gran died, I couldn't. They were saying, "Oh, you can go to the funeral," blah blah blah, and then I never got to the funeral. And then I wrote a song for her, and then I managed to like the lady I was working for. I was doing behavioural courses. I was the orderly for offending behaviour courses. So she like printed out the song on some card and whatnot. Someone made me like a frame, like out of wood and stuff. Some old boy was sick at making frames and that, so he made me a frame, and then I managed to give it out. They let me give it out on a visit so they can like put it on a grave and stuff. So that was good.
That's amazing.
Now I ain't recorded that song.
You haven't?
So, nah, but it's crazy because after this, I'm going to uni, and one of my assignments is to work as a gospel choir. And I said, like, I've got a song that I want to put through to see if we can make it into something. And I'm going to
you're going to suggest that?
Yeah.
Oh, that is exciting.
Yeah. I just want to, because I do it all the time when I'm, like, in a rehearsal room and that, but I've never recorded it, ever.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to like pull back those things that, you know, those projects that have been, you know, left to the side for a while. Yeah. Wonderful. So I feel like we could talk for a lot longer, right? Damn, I was capping this at 22 minutes. Wonderful. Okay, well, yeah, I think that there is like, that's a tiny, tiny fraction of your story mixed in with creativity and why it is so important. But I think it's going to be really, really valuable for people to listen to. So thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
I really appreciate it.
At Catch-22, we work with young people and adults providing intervention, rehabilitation, and victim services in prison and in the community. To learn more, visit catch-22.org.uk.